The Path.
The Path Bike Shop.
The show was on.
I had the biggest smile on my face.
Taking it to a whole new level.
Pitch and fight threads in it.
You have like a angry style.
Yeah, we're called Play Hard.
We've had some good times.
It's February 5th, 2025. This is the Path Podcast. My name is Tani, here with Ak.
Hey, Tani, good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. What's new?
I'm not wearing a big fit hat today.
Yeah, that thing's super tech.
It is. It is super tech.
Did you take some deep breaths and like line up your line real good because it's so tech?
Exactly. So these hats are also from the. I think we talked about them, from the same hat manufacturer. Yeah. And man, Brian said the brims are some of the best that he's tried, and he's tried a lot of trail hats.
That man really knows his hats.
He does know his hats, and you know I've been really turned on to this type of hat from another shop, and I've been running with these, and it is definitely I'm in love with the brim on this hat.
Nice.
Yeah, I might make it look like maybe not a big fit hat.
You've been getting some good rides in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was fantastic because we got the first rain that we've had here in like 250 days. So I think this was not this Monday, but 2 Mondays ago, over the weekend, Sunday to Monday. And it was just enough to probably shouldn't be riding on Monday or Tuesday, but we didn't ride until Wednesday night. And we rode in off of Blackstar Canyon here in Orange County, kind of in the Cleveland National Forest, a little bit bigger mountain type of riding, a little bit more raw single track.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been night riding in over a year.
Night riding is so rad.
It is. But I'll tell you, when you haven't done it in like 2 seasons, it took a little bit of getting used to.
The cold.
Yeah.
The lack of vision.
Yeah, how quickly things come up on you.
And not all night rides are the same because some nights are really not as dark as others.
Right. Because this was a really dark night because we were away from the city, and no moon.
Yeah.
So yeah, when the moon is out, it really makes a big difference.
It's crazy how much you can see by some moonlight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can do most climbing on fire roads if you got a full moon on a clear night.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I did a little warm up on a little mini down single track, and I was like, oh my goodness.
What light are you running these days?
Oh gosh, it's a Gemini.
Oh, that thing's bright.
Yeah, it is bright. It's the 4 lens version.
Yeah, I think they're out of business.
I think they are, but
That's
it's
a bummer.
I think like modern light tech, maybe they're all similar. You almost don't need a headlamp, like a helmet mounted light. But I had a Lezine. Is it Lezine or Lezine?
I think it's Lezine.
Lezine. I had a Lezine like 1200. Battery was fully contained and everything.
Yeah,
it's pretty bright. It's lightweight, and yeah, it is helpful to, especially in that kind of tight single track with a lot of bushes, to be able to look around the corner.
So you got out there with some of the crew?
I just got out there with Eric, actually.
Oh yeah, Eric's been on the show.
Yeah, so we got out there. It was like 3,000 feet of climbing and like 14 miles in an hour and a half in the very dark.
Yes.
And so it's funny. He was telling me how he was doing some leading of night rides for the shop in years past, and once nobody came out, and it was only him, and he did that ride.
Oh wow. Yeah. So, have you ever gone night riding by yourself?
Maybe once.
I used to do it from time to time, and I really enjoy it, but I think Blackstar is a little different.
It is.
It's just, there's a vibe.
There's some legend.
Yeah.
And maybe it's urban myth, but there's some legend.
Well, and like there's been some crime out there.
Right.
Not in the recent years.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is further out. Like we used to do night rides at the Luge, which you park at Cook's Corner, and then you climb up on the road, and then you're climbing on a ridge, San Diego Truck Trail ridge, and you can see the city lights from there.
Yeah.
And you feel a little bit connected. There's never any time that you feel, man, like I am out there.
Yeah.
But in Blackstar, you feel like you are out there.
And that's a good point. A lot of times when I did ride alone, it was the San Diego Truck Trail to the Luge.
Right.
Or up to Old Camp. Yeah.
But man, Eric will have to tell the story again. But he said on that particular night, it was weird because there was a lot of frogs. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, but the frogs were out and they were, kind of hopping when they'd get in the light. And so you'd see this motion on the periphery. And he said it was really cool. There's I think a white owl came swooping down in his light and picked up a frog, and off it went.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
But when you're out there, when you're out there after you do kind of that first climb and then drop down where what the ranch used to be.
Yeah.
You're kind of, you've climbed a ridge, you've dropped down into like a meadow area, kind of in the middle of like, it's a big bowl, like all the big mountains are around you.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was like a little bit creepy.
Isolating.
Yeah. Very quiet.
Yeah.
And that was like, we'd stop once in a while and it was like, man, that's that oppressive quietness.
And there's so much history out there.
Right.
There's all the native history, indigenous history, and then like outlaw history.
Right. And even recent history of people being there, right?
And then there was that guy for a long time who was super aggressive and had a shotgun.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but none of that really exists, although there is that pretty nice house.
Yeah.
Not really far back there, but on the road pretty close to the gate.
Yeah. Do you think that's the old squatter place?
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But it's yeah, so that was a great ride. Really want to do some more night riding this year. It was funny. We were saying first time you've ridden at night in a while, and I had this like anxiety. This like, man, I haven't ridden at night in so long.
Yeah.
And there's like almost like a weird anxiety more than any other type of riding that I do.
That's cool though. That's probably good to get through that.
Yeah, totally. And it was the trails we rode, because it had rained a few days ago, were in such prime condition.
And night riding turns a trail that you might be kind of tired of into a whole new adventure, which is awesome. And
this particular trail that we rode, I've just started riding it. So I've probably ridden it 8 or 9 times in the past couple of months, but I've never ridden it before. So I'm super stoked on this trail. And I've only ridden it at the tail end of 250 days of no moisture, no rain.
So our 250-day dry spell is over, and the trails are awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
And even Eric was saying this could be the best condition that he's ever ridden this. And he's been riding it for years. So he was saying this could be the best condition that it's ever been.
Why so good?
I think just enough moisture to like make the entire trail like great grip, and yeah, great trail conditions. No mud. I mean, on the kind of low-lying fire road, there's some spots where water collects.
Where at the bottom of that downhill you talked about.
Exactly.
That's always the muddy spot. Yeah.
But beyond that, and we didn't even have to ride through the mud. You just kind of on the edge of it. But the single track, not one puddle. No accumulation on tires or things like that. So then the next day, actually, was it the next day? That was Wednesday night, Thursday. No, so Friday, 2 days later, I rode my non-e-bike, which is a Trans SX.
Trans-Advanced SX.
Trans-Advanced SX, the new one. So 145 rear, 160 front, I think is what it has. A Fox 36. I put a DHX coil on the rear. I'm running reserves front and rear with Cushcore cross country on the rear and no Cushcore in the front. And so went out, pedaled with Luke. and that was a lot of fun. It was like blindingly fun at times climbing.
Luke from Rigged has also been on the show.
Right. He's always in excellent shape and a phenomenal rider. So, we rode, let's see, what did we ride? We rode...
Lives up to his nickname.
Yeah, Charger. Right. Yeah.
The Charger.
The Charger. Right. We realized that we've been riding together. He and I have been riding together like 20 years.
That checks out.
20 years. Man, that's over half his
And you weren't riding together before that because he was young enough that it would have been a little weird.
Yeah.
Because I first met Luke, he was on his dad's shoulders.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he started working here when he was
17, maybe, just guessing.
15.
15.
I think, yeah.
15. No, that's right. That checks out.
Yeah. So, and by that time, he was already a Charger.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And it would be a little bit weird for you to be riding with like an 11-year-old, maybe, unless you really knew his dad well.
Exactly. So, but yeah, we rode, a couple of really good trails, and both because it had rained, people had done a little bit of work.
Shout out to whoever did that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think a lot of people have gotten out there and done a lot of good work. Rode a pretty steep trail. Man, it was like, holy mackerel, Batman. Boom, piff, pow, like it was awesome.
Yeah. Like I told you on the phone call, that's the trail for me that's like, it's in the true steeps category. But it's the easiest one in the category, sort of, but then sort of not.
Yeah, the way the features are set up, and riding it behind Luke was phenomenal. So
it's less intimidating than maybe some of the other ones, but more technical.
I think so. Like there a couple of the there's three moves, and
they're very raw looking,
and they're kind of that type of thing like. You really can't. You get to a point where you can't control.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay, but there's not a lot of features around where there's just like you get to a point where you
just have to go with it till you get to another spot on
where
the
you can, and then a couple of the moves. It's like you have a very short period to re-get control.
You sort of have control because you could probably ruin everything.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, we did on this particular
brakes
one.
aren't really working at I think the main thing is that it's steep enough. There's points where it's steep enough that brakes don't do anything.
Exactly.
Or what they do, or
what
worse,
they do is make it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They cause problems.
Right. And I remember I was following Luke, and one of the features there's a right line and a left line. The right line in the feature itself is I think less technical. It's still very technical, but it's less technical. But it sets you up less well on the exit
for the next turn.
And so I remember thinking as I was entering, I'm like, maybe I'll take the right line. And then, you're watching the person in front of you, and then that feature comes up pretty quick. And we get to it, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take the right line. But I was just following Luke's line, and then I get up, and I'm like, wait a second, I don't think we're taking the right line. So we're taking the left. I was like, oh, I'm glad we did that. It's yeah. And then, so that was phenomenal. And then I rode the next day again. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Did an e-bike ride with Eric again. And we did a couple of good big features head clearing and everything. And again, thank you to everyone who's doing work on the local trails. Yeah, it's
100%. People who do trail work are the best.
Yes. So,
and especially if they are doing like the reward list, like brushing and stuff, because everyone wants to do dirt work.
Right.
And then people who are really good at doing dirt work, you're the best.
Yeah, exactly. So I did this alternate e-bike, non-e-bike, e-bike, non-e-bike And I had a really interesting revelation when I was riding with Luke on my non-e-bike.
Yes.
I'm on the SX. I have 155 cranks, and at no point in the ride did I go, "Oh, I'm on 155 cranks." Like I noticed, I remember reminding myself at the very start of the ride, but in the middle of the ride,
You're acclimated and habituated.
yeah, which was awesome. I didn't think like, oh, I'm pedaling tiny circles. And we climbed Canyon Acres not the single track. We climbed Canyon Acres proper, and
That'll test your torque.
that will test your torque. Yeah, I did have to get off once and walk, but apart from that,
That's pretty legit.
yeah, it was.
That is a steep, loose fire road.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you live in Orange County and you want to challenge yourself to climb something difficult and you haven't done it before, and a lot of our listeners have done it before, and for some of our listeners, it's not even that big of a deal. But if you haven't done it before, check it out if you want to challenge yourself.
right. Just pedal when it gets really steep. Pedal as slow as you can to keep yourself from blowing up and without tipping over.
It's definitely a test of strength and endurance and balance and traction.
Right. And there's a couple spots where you just have to do some strong moves to get up and over little, 5.
Just having tons and tons of watts may not be enough.
Right. Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun. It was good to get back out on the non-e-bike for some good pedaling.
So maybe now you're ready for 145 cranks.
I think so. Are those coming?
Maybe 147 and a half.
That's actually what it calculates out at.
Is that what you got for you?
I think like
At the
140.
20% rule?
Yeah. Was it 20% of your cycling industry, right?
I believe that's one way to get a
Estimate.
starting point or a way to
Okay.
start thinking about it. Yeah.
Eric, if you're listening, it's 20% times your riding inseam. I couldn't remember that as we were pedaling
And
along.
he probably gets like 170.
He probably does. Well, let me see. He told me his cycling inseam.
I bet it's 34.
No, it's 36. He
Oh,
said.
dang.
Yeah, he's got long legs.
That's significant.
36.
Inseamage.
Yep. Point 2. Oh my gosh, what?
190.
Yeah, 182.
Really?
If he's got a 36 inch, that's 2.54 times that. So he's got a 91.4 centimeter. And times 0.2, 18.2 centimeters, which is 182 millimeters.
Wow. I
Maybe
wonder.
he doesn't have a 30. Maybe that's his pant inseam.
Yeah, maybe that's a lot of.
Backwards. Maybe 34.
Who knows? Maybe it is 36.
Yeah.
So I wonder too if on the outer edges things are different. Usually on the outer edges things are different.
Yeah, that is true. And I don't think we're on the outer edge on the short side.
No, we're on the inner edge.
We're probably. I don't think we're on the.
For leg length, for height, well, I think
as
most
tall
of
as
my
we
height's in my
are-
torso.
yeah, as
I
tall
think
as we
for
are, we probably should-
legs, I might be. I don't know the words.
Leg length to as tall as you are, and as tall as we are, probably are on the getting to the standard deviations away from norm.
Especially for someone who rides a size medium. Yeah, for someone who rides a size medium,
Right.
like our saddle heights are probably on the not the extremely low, but
Right.
kind of
Maybe
very
We're
low.
not 2 standard deviations away, but we might be
1.8.
exactly. Exactly.
I love standard deviations, by the way. They're so cool.
It's a great way to think about things. So some great rides. Let's see. Jeff M from the shop got a pretty significant ride in.
Yeah, he took our Vala demo out, and he has been digging that thing.
Yeah, and he's been doing some big rides on it without a range extender. And he was able to get 27 miles and over 5,700 feet of climbing on a 600 watt hour battery. He was in blue the entire time, which is, I think there's 4 settings: eco, blue, purple, which
Yeah.
is the EMTB, and then boost. So he was in blue the whole time.
That is very efficient.
That is,
Full, just to like make sure that proper context is given here. Jeff's in pretty good shape right now. He probably pedaled pretty hard.
yeah.
He's been running. He's been riding with Blair. He's
yeah.
been changing his diet. Like he's like on a mission, and he has been for long enough to make a difference.
Right.
So that's maybe a factor. I mean, I do believe. I do really.
But would it have made it a factor, or would he have just done it faster?
I think on blue in particular, it's a factor. But I think on any level, it's a factor, maybe. Because
Do you think that he's? It's that efficiency,
I mean, the more work you put in, the less work the battery has to put in.
or the more work you put in, the more it matches you. So it's actually using a little.
I
bit
see your
more.
point. Yeah. Perhaps on red, you may run into that, but I doubt you run into it enough to lose efficiency instead of gain efficiency from the system.
Right.
In other words, I doubt it puts in enough extra work to offset the overall extra effort you put in. Maybe. It's hard to say. It's a good question.
RPMs.
But in blue, I bet you for sure Jeff's work was helping.
But see, like if he was keeping his cadence high, then the motor possibly would have been putting in more.
Maybe.
Because it's
I just think when you and I ride together,
Yep.
you get more range. And I think it's maybe partly because you're a little lighter than me, but I think it's mostly because you're putting in more help than me.
I see. Maybe. Okay, I could consensus on that. But regardless, not irregardless, getting 27 miles and 5,700 plus feet of climbing.
It's good under any
on a
conditions.
600 watt hour battery.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's up and over the Santa Anas, up and over, and have battery left. Yeah.
If you're going from the Blackstar side.
If you're going from the Blackstar side.
Yeah. If you're going all the way to the peak, it's just one trip to the peak, roughly. Because 5,600 feet to the Majeska Peak.
Yeah, but you're starting at 1,000
The
feet.
Santiago Peak.
You're starting at
Are you starting at 1,000? You might be starting at 1,000. Yeah. Okay. So 4,600.
I mean, that's easily Harding Joplin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what you could do? Harding Joplin down to Trabuco, and then back up over Live Oak Canyon. I bet you could do that.
Yeah. I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let alone what you could do with a range extender.
Or Harding Joplin and go do lower Joplin and climb back up it, so you don't have to trespass on the.
Yep. Yeah, you could do that. Okay,
We should go do lower Joplin and climb back up it soon.
let's do it.
Yeah.
So, full disclosure.
Oh wait, that's closed. I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Full disclosure on how I got my range extender to work. If you read the Santa Cruz, maybe they listen to our podcast and they changed the language on their I'm kidding. On their website. On their website, it actually does say 200 millimeter cord is recommended.
250 or
It says 200, although they say it doesn't exist, so they say use the 250
okay.
or the 290, whatever it is.
I think it's 250.
250. Yeah, so the 250. Can you get those?
I think we have them in stock at the Path Bike Shop.
Oh my gosh, you have them in stock at the Path.
Pretty sure. I know we ordered some, and they should be here by now. Probably.
That's fantastic. I'm going to buy one because I said this last time. I had to shave my compression knob a little bit to get it to work which is okay.
It's fun.
It looks really clean. And nothing a little blue Sharpie can't fix. But for sure you can't get it to work that way, even with the the B-Rad bottle cage holder adjustment thing. You can't get it to work with a coil, PHX2 coil.
Yep. Are you running a coil?
I am not,
But you
I
want
will
it.
be.
That's cool.
I would love to try to. I heard through the grapevine you might be able to overstroke that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fun stuff.
and then you might put a 38 on it, the 170 fork maybe.
If you could have that same bike and it was like, say, 170 or 160 rear, 170 front, and like a degree or two slacker head angle, would you get rid of your Vala and get that bike?
Would I?
Or would you keep your Vala?
Oh my
Or would
gosh.
you keep your Vala and get that bike? And do I even need to offer a third option?
Yeah, I mean, like, I might, but I bought my Vala, so
It's just a hypothetical. I'm
Yeah.
like looking at my Vala. I'm like, it scratches so many itches. I'm like, I don't even think I need more bike, because usually I like having an e-bike that's like full enduro.
yeah, and the relay, because I rode the relay on and the full enduro is so nice.
It is full enduro.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was definitely helping the situation. And I was thinking, would I feel like this on the Vala? Even if I put like a 160, even if I did the overstroke, the not totally recommended overstroke in a
Well,
longer
I
fork.
think if you can ride the trails you rode on the Trans, you
SX.
can ride the Vala on anything.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I'm guessing.
I could see that. I was thinking, because on my Trans SX, I think I got a 160 fork on that. I think it's 145 160. I kept thinking, well, maybe the Fox fork doesn't bottom all the way out when it's bottoming out.
It does though.
It does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's cool that you used all your travel.
Yeah. And I think, it was fantastic. So let's ride, man.
Yeah,
I know you've been staying fit with other things, but let's try to ride.
we'll see. I haven't been riding a ton in the last couple weeks, but I've been kind of like a summer surfer with riding lately. Like the time I rode, it was like, oh, it's sunny out. I'm going riding.
All right.
I don't know. My favorite time to ride used to be when it was kind of cold.
This would just be a very perfect time to
But
do
lately I've been more into riding when it's warm.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Nice out.
Well, it's not
Not like hot, just like nice
yeah.
out.
Oh, this is the perfect time. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, it's not as cold as it has been.
That's true.
For whatever reason, in I don't know, November.
I've had some work projects too that I've been pretty immersed in.
Yeah,
But that'll come to an end.
yeah. I also been starting some strength training,
Oh, good for you. Like
Yeah.
weights?
like weights, hex bar, mainly hex bar and jump box.
What's a hex bar?
It's like doing a deadlift, except instead of like lifting right in front of you with a straight bar, it's a bar. It's like a hexagon.
Okay.
And you step into the middle of it,
I can picture that, yeah.
and then you put the weights on the side. So
And jump box you do without weights?
jump box I do without weights, because when you get to be a certain age, you got to like ease into it.
How tall's the box?
Let's see. I started with 18, and now I'm at 20.
And you're doing this at your house?
I just do it at the house. Yeah.
How many reps on the jump box?
3 or 4 sets of 10. I do like a
That's interesting.
burpee. Like I start laying down, and then I pop up, and then I jump up.
Man, have you checked out the Burpee King on Instagram?
No.
You got to check him out. It's so good. It is so good.
Burpee King.
Yeah. He does like burpees like in a rhythm, like he's dancing, and he does a million, and he does like fancy ones, and he does the thing where you do a push up and like take your hands and feet off the ground, and he's like 3 feet off the ground. Like it looks like he is
Flying.
insane. And he's got
Burpee King.
yeah, he's got good style.
That's awesome.
And he'll be like at a hip hop, like a little local hip hop show, doing burpees like with the performers, and he's like doing it to the beat. Like, it's awesome. And like it popped up on my feed because I'm like sort of into burpees, but like sometimes I have to take a break to get to a set of 10. You know what I mean? Like burpees are hard.
They are.
Like,
Yeah. And I don't even think I'm doing like old man intro burpees, so I don't even think you can call them burpees truly.
because you're not jumping, or
I mean,
you're not getting air.
I am, because, well, what I do is I pop up, I take a step, and then I jump up onto the box. So it's not really like
It's an extra step.
it's an extra step. So I guess I could like burpee, hop to the box, and then hop up.
That would take a lot of power and timing and balance.
Yeah. And the jump box right now, I'm just getting back used to it, to jumping onto it.
Did you make the jump box?
No, I bought
You
it.
can buy them somewhere.
Yeah, and
Where do you go for that?
There's a place in Costa Mesa over by Guitar Center, Euclid, and I think that's Euclid in the 405. I think ESE, Extreme Sports, something or other. So really well put together. It's really heavy, so you don't never feel like it's gonna tip over.
Yeah, that's
and
key.
good. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's helping.
I
I've
love
finally
it.
I've gotten past the point where every day I just go like, my body's like, what are you doing? So it's finally getting to be like, oh, I think this is what it is. Even though I'm still not good at any of this, it's just like, okay, I started to remember that this is what it's supposed
I
to be.
love that.
Anyways, awesome. Shop news?
Transition demo week of March 22nd and 23rd. I'm excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be on the 22nd. We haven't nailed the date down yet, but pencil that in if you want to ride some transition bikes on dirt.
Check out the relay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Check out the new Sentinel.
Oh, the new Sentinel.
Or check out the repeater powertrain, which has the super quiet and smooth and efficient Bros motor.
Yeah. That's because that's new. Is that new? That's new.
New-ish.
New-ish, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, fantastic. That is great. So
that's
it's the
exciting.
weekend of March 22nd. So it's March 22nd, 23rd. So that's Saturday and Sunday?
I think just Saturday or Sunday, probably Saturday.
I see. Saturday or Sunday.
Yep.
Got it.
So Pivot demo March 8th.
March 8th. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Come
on
ride
Pivot.
the new Shadowcat. We were just looking at the new Shadowcat.
Trailcat.
Dang it. New Trailcat.
You have a Shadowcat.
I had a Shadowcat.
Had a Shadowcat.
Yeah, so the new Trailcat.
Yep.
And check out our YouTube video on it, and there's lots of great reviews on YouTube for it. It's an exciting bike.
Shoot. See, I'm a podcast host, and I didn't even know you had a new. When did you release the YouTube on that?
Yesterday.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, Brian and I talked about it, and first pivot with a in-frame storage.
Yes.
And it's really cool in-frame storage because there's a bag that goes way up into the top tube.
Yep.
And then another bag that goes in beneath that one.
Yep.
So you use the whole, I'm sorry, I said top tube, but it uses the whole down tube.
That's awesome.
It goes way up into the down tube.
Yeah, so you could put way more stuff.
You put a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was reading it's got the nice little tabs on the bag so you don't lose them.
Right.
Yeah.
Pull tabs.
Pull tabs, super handy. So yeah, so let's keep talking about the bike itself. Same frame. It comes in two different trims, I'll call it.
The SL and the LT.
Yep. And what's the difference in that?
Super light with less travel and longer travel and more enduro type trail build.
Yep. Different link, different shock.
Different link, different shock, and different lower shock mount orientation.
Correct.
And that lower shock mount is the thread preparation is not real. It's like semi-permanent. It's not really meant to be taken on and off.
Got it. So you could hypothetically have one frame, but not really.
It's not.
meant to.
It's not really supported as a modular system.
Got it. Right.
And so you can't buy the link, and it's not really recommended that you just go back and forth on the lower shock mount position.
Right.
You know, those super aggressive thread locking compounds kind of almost melt the metals into each other, and each time you use them, you lose something.
A little bit, yeah. So 120, like little less travel, it's 120 versus 135.
Yep, in the back.
And then on the front, that would be, what is the front?
I think it's 140 and 150 if I remember
140 and
correctly.
150, yep. What's interesting, so on the SL, that comes with a 34, box 34.
Yeah.
And then on the LT, it comes with a 36.
Yep.
So, but what's the most interesting spec on that bike for you?
To me, it's for sure easy to say that the most interesting spec is that both the SL and the LT come with Mayven brakes.
Yeah.
Which are heavy duty, big blasting power brakes. I mean, these are brakes that you would put on. These are the most powerful brakes. Some of the heaviest brakes.
Yep. Heaviest riders on longest travel.
So it's really interesting to see Pivot's take that we'll just put, even though this is a light bike, not necessarily more meant for regular mountain bike trails overall, although it's super capable on gnarly terrain and big mountain stuff. You typically would see, I feel like most companies would be having an internal debate whether they're putting 2-piston or 4-piston brakes on
these.
And Pivot went all the way to the other edge with they're 4-piston, but
they're massive 4-piston brakes.
And we were calculating compared to XTR, the brakes and rotors are almost a pound.
Yeah,
heavier.
so that's a very interesting trade-off.
So I think if Pivot's kind of leading the market on this, and more and more people are going to be putting, if more and more people are going to be speccing Mavens on trail bikes, then this is part of the ongoing evolution of someone comes out with a more powerful brake and it's aimed at just the downhillers and the tandem riders and the heavy people, and then next thing you know, everyone wants it.
Yeah.
And then someone comes out with an even heavier and more powerful brake.
Yep. And then that becomes the old heavyweight champ becomes more of a trail down country type of brake.
It'll be interesting to see if the Mayven does make its way onto more kind of, because the SL is under 30 pounds.
Yeah, it's like 20. The top end builds are like 27 3/4 or something.
And if
like
you
that.
could if that's the difference to get it down to under 27, that's an important trade-off.
Yeah.
But stopping is a big deal.
And on that type of bike, maybe the ability to be able to stop with light.
Yeah,
light,
and not overwork
pressure,
the brake.
not overwork the brake, and
Or your hands.
or your hands. Right. That was kind of what I was thinking.
Some people talk about if the brakes get too good, you need better tires. I think there's maybe some truth to that, but I think also maybe better brakes are better even without better tires.
Yeah. People might get more used to just applying less pressure, less force at the lever.
I've definitely overheated brakes with pretty light, like not super traction-y tires.
Right. Yeah.
Just as a
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm really liking the Mavens.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel to me like they are the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Like as in if the only thing if your main concern is the most powerful, the only like close competitor in my opinion might be Magura and TRP.
Yeah.
And I think they're not. I don't feel like my TRPs are as powerful as my Mavens, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But I do feel like the TRPs have a more consistent bite point, more consistent modulation, and a more, for me, intuitive power band.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because over the course of those 4 rides, I rode 3 different brakes. 3 different brakes on 3 different days on, I don't know if you call it similar trails, but yeah, definitely on 2 of the days back to back. And 2 of those days was, so it went Mayven, Saint, TRP. So those were the different brakes that I rode. And the Mayven and the Saints have that, to me, have that similar, maybe it's more on and off, like harder initial bite, which I personally, I kind of like that. And then I went to the TRPs and I was like, whoa, this is like, I mean, maybe they do need a bleed, but I don't think they do need a bleed. And the power was definitely noticeably less, but not bad.
There was still plenty of power.
Plenty of power. But what's so interesting, I was trying to think, I wanted to do this back, A/B testing type of thing more, because I don't know if you have this in your head sometimes on really steep, like maybe long, prolonged steep, where you kind of think like, are my brakes going to heat up or fade?
Yeah.
Like, and with the Mavens, not even part of the conscious thought.
Right.
So
I've never experienced my TRPs fade.
I've never felt that either, but the thought does enter my mind.
Ah.
You know, it has never happened. So I love my TRPs, and I don't know. Maybe I might get to a point where they still continue to be my favorite brake of preferred riding. But
Well, also, do you know what pads, metallic or organic, you have in these different brakes? Because I think I have metallic pads in my Mavens, and I would like to try organic. And maybe that's part of why also my Mavens are definitely louder.
Yeah, see,
They squeal more when they get hot or
so
dusty.
maybe I do have metallics. I have whatever came in them,
Me too.
and I thought I heard somewhere somebody saying that they're speccing the Mavens with organic pads.
But ours are OE, so it might be whatever the OE spec is.
Yeah, maybe that's why mine is squealing more. Like
They do squeal more
Yeah.
than TRPs or Shimano's, unless your Shimano's have fluid leak through the
you're
pistons, which they do.
Right. Even on the Saints?
I don't know.
My Saints are
know.
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other brakes I've been riding a lot are Hayes Dominions, which are also awesome.
Very light lever feel. Is that
Very light lever feel. They're great power, great consistency,
Yeah.
and also good. I do like the lever shape a lot on the Mavens.
Yeah.
In fact, it's maybe one of my favorite lever shapes right now on the market
Right.
for OE
right,
levers.
Yep.
But I also do really like the lever shapes on the Hayes. So that goes to the angle that it comes off the perch. It goes to how it fits my
wraps
finger.
the outer edge
Yeah.
of your finger. Yep. And I've started riding with my hands a little bit farther in on the bars, which helps that. It's
We've been
great.
talking about this for a while. It's interesting that you made the change.
Yep. Yeah, and I actually made the change after I cut my bars down.
So now you're like going
True.
further and
It's
further
like-
narrow hand
Yeah.
width.
Yeah. I cut my bars down to like 155, and I was kind of hanging off the edge. So I don't think it was like a true 155. But now I'm true 155.
Well, apples for how you had been riding.
That
It was
is
a
true.
true 155.
That is true. Yep. So, but I like it. I like it.
I used to ride with kind of the fatty part of the outside of my hand a little bit hanging off the grips,
Yep.
as you had been doing.
Yep.
And I kind of stopped doing that at some point.
Yep.
And
And now I've kind of done that, and it actually helps because my hands are narrower. When I do that, it makes it more difficult to get all the pieces that I have on the end of all the accessories on the end of my bar. So you got brake, shifter,
dropper post lever
and hand guards.
and hand guards.
So now that I shifted my hands in, it actually everything fits better. So, yeah. So, anyways, it's been good. But
Brian went out to Pivot to see the new Trailcat, and he came back super, as always. Like it's not his first time there, but every time he comes back, he's just like, man, Pivot's such a cool company.
yeah.
Which same effect when I go there.
Right. Riding in the White Mountain area.
I think they did some South Mountain and some. What's the other?
Oh, South Mountain. Yeah.
What's the other trail network? Haas.
Right. Which I've never ridden either.
Oh, really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
We should go.
Now's the time of year we should go.
Ooh, yeah.
While it's still cold here, and I'm still seeking the sun.
I have Fridays off now. I'm working 410s.
Fridays right now are family day for me.
Yeah. But it is interesting that the head angle on the SL and the long travel are pretty close.
And also within a couple tenths of a degree of
High-low.
the previous
Oh yeah. Sorry.
of like the Trail 429, which this bike kind of replaces.
Yeah. But I thought that the difference in the head angle between the SL and the LT would be greater.
Yeah. And also, I thought it might be a greater difference between the Trailcat and the Trail 429.
The Trail 429, right? And the Trail 429 and the You said Trailcat, but they're
Yeah, this time I'm right.
yeah. Okay, you're right. right.
This time I didn't say Shadowcat.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so that's it's got the 157 standard
Super Boost.
Super Boost.
People complain about Super Boost because they want to be able to change wheels around from other bikes, but Super Boost is legit.
Yeah.
It allows you to do things that are good that you can't do otherwise, including the spoke bracing angle being better,
Yeah.
which creates a stiffer, stronger wheel.
Yep. So yeah, that's Trailcat Pivot demo. I think maybe I'll come try it if I can get on that list.
I'm excited that demo days are, a lot of brands never really reactivated a demo tour after the pandemic, and now it's cool that we've got plenty of demos on the calendar for this spring.
For sure.
Yeah, we got some trail work opportunities coming up. You can go on letsgooutside.org and get information. February 22nd at Lizards, March 8th at Five Oaks, March 15th at Stair Steps. There's another one, I forget where, on the 29th. So I think it's cool if you can get out there and do some trail work and make some friends, and it feels good. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Next over the hump, April 29th.
Yep. Should we? I'm not good at.
I'll race you.
Yeah.
Next Fontana race is the February 8th and 9th. They've got enduro, downhill, and cross country.
This show may have played by the. No, that's next weekend.
Oh, that already happened.
Nope.
Dang it.
This show will have aired out by the time.
Okay, so that's the first race of the series, but there's more races coming up.
Yeah, so
They do a whole series.
Man, Fontana.
I
Such
can't believe
good
I watched that.
times.
We've had a lot of fun out there.
Should we go out?
Someday we need to go back to Fontana someday for sure.
Try racing XC? Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, I don't think that would be maybe downhill.
Enduro.
I would do downhill.
Downhill. What bike would you ride?
Take the battery out of my relay, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Maybe we could all borrow mountain bike Alan's downhill bike.
Yeah. Maybe I just need maybe the reason I want to go to Fontana is so I have an excuse to to take a Phoenix home.
Oh, man.
Wouldn't it be cool to own a Phoenix?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, I'd love an excuse to own a Phoenix. Maybe plan a Whistler trip.
Oh, gosh. Or do some legitimate shuttles.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Gosh.
Let's get downhill bikes, dude.
I would love to ride a downhill bike again.
I think this probably isn't my season for that, but I feel like it might be coming soon, and maybe it is.
I know it's not oh gosh. Because I feel like my riding now might suit a downhill bike in some natural terrain.
Summer 2026.
Summer 2026. Let's go for it.
We're going to Whistler.
Yeah. All right.
We got other stuff coming up. We have half off demo bikes at the Path till the end of February.
Oh my gosh.
So use the code New Year's.
Is it
50?
New Year's with an
Yeah,
R?
yeah.
Okay, New Year's 50 with an R.
New Year's 50 for half off demo bikes. Your demo fee is 100% credit for any bike you buy at the Path for 6 months.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. We have some great demos. We have Santa Cruz Follows, Bronsons, Blurs, High Towers. We have Shuttle AMs and Shuttle LTs and Shuttle SLs from Pivot and Switchblades from Pivot. There's some Trances from Giant. Really fun bikes to try.
Yeah. And, we don't check out the Giants. That's the Trans. The Trans. If you got
We don't have your transfer
you
demo
don't have
right
the
now. We have the
Trans.
$2,000 aluminum
Yeah,
one.
got it. You should try it anyways, but yeah.
The $3,000 one that's on sale for $2,000.
For sure. Yeah, you've also got some 60/80.
Do you know that's a 180 front and rear travel?
Yeah, that is so amazing. Right?
Burly.
That is burly.
Yeah, the GX build is on sale for $59.49, and the NX build is on sale for $46.74. And they both have good forks and solid parts and
180.
Radgeo and Bosch motors. Bosch Smart Systems.
Oh my gosh. 180.
And those are moving fast at that price. Like those are going to sell out soon.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, we got a fun little note today. We're processing some web orders, and they can leave a note. You know,
Right.
Andrew in Tennessee ordered a trance. Shout out to Andrew. Thanks for the business.
That's right.
And he's like, "Oh, love the podcast." So that always puts a smile on my face.
Exactly.
Thanks, Andrew in Tennessee.
Thanks for yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I was trying to find a picture here. Let's keep talking.
Say something.
Okay. Kind of fun notes. I hope this is appropriate, but I brought this. I've got a chamois Hagar,
Okay.
an Evil.
That's a drop bar bike.
It's a drop bar bike. Very aggressive geometry. It's like a 66.5-degree head angle gravel bike, and I've had it for quite a while. And I bought a pair of Envy wheels back when they were, I think, either 21 millimeters wide. Actually, it might have been off of Rabi.
Okay.
And so he had been riding it on a cross bike, and so I've had those wheels for quite some time. And so I've been riding them off road, whatever, and commuting on them and everything. So I noticed that two of the spokes were just super loose, and I've never had these things trued. They've just been rock solid for as long as I've had them. So, it's one of those things when you have old wheels and you've been putting, stands in them for many years. You get a little bit of, you get some stanimals.
Some build up.
Yeah, and you could hear the stanimals. Exactly. So I brought it in, and I said, "Hey, Zach, could you, take a look at this?" He's like, "Okay." So the note says, "Wheel has a couple loose spokes. Fix and call him." So then the note comes back. It says, "Trued wheel as best as possible. This wheel is hammered. Has a few twisted spoke and mismatched nipples. The stock nipples left are gross and crusty. Retaped with Gorilla Tape what it had on before," because that's what Envy actually recommended.
Yep.
Is Gorilla Tape. "Removed a kilo of dried sealant from inside rim." Those were the Stanimals. "This Envy wheel, once the pride of any serious cyclist, now resembles a relic from a bygone era. What was once a sleek embodiment of cutting-edge engineering has been reduced to an old trusty veteran, showcasing scuffs and scrapes like badges of honor from a life well lived, though perhaps a bit too recklessly."
Wow. This is what you get at the Path.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Was that Zach?
No, that was
Jesse.
no.
Jake.
Ethan? Yeah.
Ethan.
No. Jake. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have they're not just good bike mechanics. They're passionate and creative people.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. So thank you for that. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways. Let's see what else.
No extra charge for the note.
Exactly. Thank you. So what's in your bag?
Yeah.
What's in your bag? So we talked about what's in your bag, and hopefully folks have had a chance to get out to YouTube to check that out. Very, very
Our
cool
what's in the
video.
bag video. It's also kind of a low-key meet the staff video.
Yeah. So a lot of really cool things. And I went through I have 4 different setups going through the various, and I needed to put back a lot of little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So thank you for the reminder. But then I get to this thing where, the Trans SX has in-bike storage.
Yeah.
In-frame storage. And I also been running the Wolf Tooth pump with tool storage, or the One-Up pump with tool storage in it. And each of those systems has its strong points about what it has and maybe what it doesn't have. And so then you supplement either in your pack or, in this case, in your in-bike storage.
Yeah.
So do you have anything with in-bike storage?
No.
So I was trying to figure out, and I'd love to hear different people's perspectives on this. What do you put in your in-bike storage? And how do you balance that if you want to run a pump with a tool? There's so many options. And then
Right. And not all in-bike storage is the same size.
Yeah.
Some's a lot bigger than others.
Exactly. So I think I'm running I've got the Wolf with the it's not the 8-bit. Yeah, I think it is the 8-bit.
It's the inside pump storage
pump storage system. You know, you got some good. It's not the same tools that the what's in your bag folks are running here.
Which isn't just one tool either.
There's 3 different ones. Yeah. So, but the Wolf version of it, the Wolf in pump storage tool does not have a quick link breaker. So, but it has everything else. And so Lezine has a cool little quick link breaker that also has a tire lever. So that's a pretty handy combo.
Yeah.
Because that will fit in my in-bike storage. The on-bike tube pump and tool will fit, and then my extra tube will fit inside. So
there are exceptions to this, but for the most part, in my mind, the quick link tool is an at-home tool. Because what is there aren't a ton of situations on the trail where it's going to be helpful to open the quick link.
Yep.
There are. Maybe you get your chain really stuck and wrapped up and you just want to or you don't know how to fix the double loop.
Right.
But you should learn how to fix the double loop.
Right.
You push them into each other.
Right. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I remember getting that as a kid and just being like,
what in the world?
What?
How did I do this?
Yeah. How could?
That's a good point. Just push them towards each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They eat each other.
Yeah. So, my advice when you're kind of thinking about how to set things up is to give it some thought and look at what the different systems have, and maybe go look at these things and put them on your bike, like in the shop, try them, see if it feels right in the pack and what have you, because the different systems you might end up duplicating tools if you kind of don't think this through.
Right.
And I think that's part of what you're trying to avoid.
Extra weight of duplicating tools.
Correct. So I don't actually carry. I noticed a lot of people carry pocket knife in their bag.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually carry pocket knife in my bag. A pocket knife in my bag.
I only do in my big adventure setup.
Yeah, my car keys have a Swiss Army knife tool, one of the tiny ones.
Yeah,
and that has a knife on it. So I do carry pocket knife. It's just not a pocket knife.
Yeah, it's little.
It's a tiny one. Yeah. So.
Cool.
I think that's a podcast.
All right. Thanks, Ock. Thanks, everybody. And let's all remember to love the bike we ride.